Kristen Andre, founder and chief strategist of Andre Consulting Group. I founded my company almost 10 years ago because I love helping people not only succeed, but thrive in their careers and their lives. So many times I meet amazing people who have so much more potential than what they're utilizing. As I engage with them, there seems to be a common theme: the limits they place on themselves. Throughout this podcast series, we're going to visit some incredible people who have created more intentional lives for themselves, those who've had that no limits moment where they chose to grow and they put things in motion to help them do so. We'll focus on how you can break through limits. We'll equip you with strategies to help you lead a more intentional life, and we'll have a lot of fun along the way. So let's dive in. Hi, everyone, and welcome to No Limits with Kristen Andre. I'm here today with Ceata Lash, who is the founder or inventor of the PuffCuff.
Yes.
Which I'm excited about this. And let me tell you why. Because Whitney, one of our producers here that you know, is a huge PuffCuff fan. So yes. I did not know about the PuffCuff. So
she was introduced here at the Puff.
I saw that. The PuffCuff, for those of you guys that aren't familiar with, it's for curly hair. Obviously, I don't. If you're watching, my hair is bone straight. I do not have the curly hair issues, but I love the fact that there are like products. So tell me your story, because you didn't start out to be in the beauty industry.
Oh no, no.
So give me your background.
Okay, there's so much background.
Well, little ways.
I was born.
That's right. Everybody always answers it that way. I've got to start asking a different way.
I think I probably would have went to cosmetology school, and this maybe sound bad and not be PC, but where the little town I was from, cosmetology school and vocational school was for those who weren't going to college.
That was kind of how it was. I grew up in a small town too.
You got pregnant, then you could go to
that's small town.
Yep. Right, that's a small town mentality. So when I was mentioning that, my parents was like, "Are you pregnant?" No, I'm not pregnant. But I want to do hair, but didn't work that way. But I'm a graphic designer.
Okay,
I knew that in high school. I wanted to be in the arts.
Very cool. Okay.
So followed that path all the way through college, got my BFA from Northern Illinois University in visual communications.
Okay.
And I worked full-time first right out of school and realized I don't work well with others.
Right.
With authority and corporate mentality and stuff like that. Yep. So then
I kind of phrase it, I don't like being told what to do.
Right.
I'm fine telling other people what to do.
I'm fine. Yeah. Right. I like being the boss.
Yep.
But I can work well. I can work with others. Just I don't like all that ins and out politics and all of that other that stuff. Yeah. So and then I figured out, you know what, I can make more money by freelancing and contracting, and then I'm here because they need me here. You know what I mean?
Exactly. No, it's totally different dynamic.
Right, totally different. I didn't have, when I left the job. It was, I left all the foolishness of the job there.
Right.
I didn't carry that home because, it didn't matter to me. I was just like, I'm here because I'm needed for this project.
Exactly.
So that worked well. So I always say, I'm a hustler by nature.
Yep.
Always freelance or contracted, blah, 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 blah.
Okay.
So this was back in Illinois. Okay. And actually the first woman who hired me out of college, I ended up coming back into her life again. She was working at a community college and needed a freelance graphic designer. And, we had the relationship and she trusted me. So I was like, sure, I'll come on and work for you. So I was working there for a while. And in that time, I decided to stop chemically straightening my hair. So that's where it kind of started. And this was back in 2003, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, 2003, because, and it wasn't one of those, I had been having my hair either heat straightened or chemically straightened since I was maybe 6 or 7.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Long time.
Long time. And then I think I had my first relaxer when I was 10.
Okay.
So I had no idea what my hair that would grow out of my scalp
was going to look like. Yeah.
Or
It's no clue. A lot of chemicals.
Right. A lot of chemicals. So that's another segment.
Yeah.
Yeah. So putting how we put all those chemicals on our bodies for so many years. But anyway, so with that, 2003 just happened to go longer in between touch-ups, which is, just like touching up your color.
Yeah.
Went longer in between and realized, wow, my scalp isn't inflamed. I'm not itching and flaking and having all the foolishness that I had been dealing with for years that never could be like cured, just getting like topicals to mask the issue, but never really taking the issue away.
Right.
And all of a sudden it cleared up on its own. And it was like, okay, my body is trying to tell me to stop doing this. Stop, don't put the chemicals on yourself. I don't know that
anymore. A lot of people realize that, because I have a lot of friends, of different ethnic backgrounds, and it's a lot. My hair is pretty straight. I don't have to do anything to it. But my girlfriends that have either done relaxers or straightened their hair, or I've had several girlfriends that did braids for a while and then taking them out. It's just such an arduous process. I think a lot of people don't realize how much is involved and like how much work like for one and chemical. It totally is.
Yeah, it's like totally speaking a foreign language. If you're not in it, you just don't get it.
Exactly.
And it's deep.
Yeah. It's true. I mean, it's true because it's very much a culture thing. And one of my girlfriends, I remember, it was, her daughter was reaching almost like preteen age. Husband's black, she's white. And so her daughter's hair was very different than what she was used to. And it was a lot of work for her to try to figure out, how do I best take care of her? How do I use the right products, the right stuff? Because you want to make sure she's not putting anything
crazy in her or on it, because people think it's on you, but no, it's going in you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and it's one of those things too, to where it's even trying to figure out how to take care of curly hair even from an African descent perspective.
Yeah.
We've been straightening our hair. Madam C.J. Walker, this is years and years and years of straightening hair. So it wasn't even something that you could go to your grandmother, great-grandmother, great-great-grandmother to be like, how do I take care of what's coming out of my head? Because it's all been straight.
So it was new for you when you let it grow out?
It was totally foreign.
Okay.
Totally foreign. But it was one of those things to where I got so much relief by not doing the relaxer anymore. I was like, I'm just not going back. So I'm just going to have to figure this out on my own. And it literally was figuring it out on your own. And I made a whole bunch of mistakes.
So how did that spark? I mean, at what point did you go, there's some, I mean, you obviously invented PuffCuff. So this was out of necessity, it sounds like.
Yeah, total
just something
necessity.
For you.
Totally necessity, because like I said, started growing my hair out, did the big chop, 2006. My twins were 3, and we all went to the barber together and got all our hair cut off.
Got it.
Was growing out what we call a TWA, teeny weeny afro.
Oh, that's funny. Okay. Not heard that.
Couldn't take it. Couldn't take the way that I looked.
Yeah. Because
I looked just like my mother from like the 70s. And I was like, I'm not ready to bite that off. You don't want to
be your mom.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, though she was cute, I just was not, you know.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, let me figure out I did the braid thing and had my hair fall out. I did the coloring thing, hair fell out again. And it's like, okay, I've got to be able to just let this come out naturally, grow it naturally. But I still wanted to be able to style it in a way that I felt comfortable in my own skin.
Sure.
I'm from the North, right? At that time we were living in the Chicago area.
Okay.
My husband and I both used to be in the only black, usually period, in different situations. At that time, I was the only African American in my department, and also the only African American in my building. So me going from straightened hair to wearing an afro, and then black women always are doing something different to their hair every day. So we're always a topic of conversation.
Oh yeah,
but from that aspect, and I dug it too. People were like, what's Ceata got going on with her hair today?
I think it's fun because I have a couple girlfriends like I'm like, what are we going to do today?
Right.
And I wish I had that versatility, but obviously there's a lot of work that goes along.
Yeah, it was. But at that time, I was like, okay, I'm not even sure about how I'm feeling about this process of growing out my natural hair. I don't want to be the focus of attention. An afro, I felt like I wasn't ready for that responsibility. because that comes with a lot of responsibility just from, you know, socially and everything else. I'm like, I'm not ready for that. So I want to be able to pull my hair up. And it was a matter of pulling it up in a puff. So with that, I needed to try and find something that I could pull it up and not have a headache and hair breakage and everything else. And just trying to find tools already existing in the market, I just couldn't find anything. And I used to, my go-to makeshift tool or whatever was I used to get a boot-sized shoestring, tie it around my neck, then pull it up, cinch it, and pull it so I could get my hair all the way up, and then tie it around a couple more times and hope that sucker didn't move.
That's a lot of work.
It's crazy. It's crazy. So with that, it was like, I had that thought. This is crazy. Why am I having to do that? And at that time,
this is where those creative juices, like you said, you're a creative person. That's where that's kicking in.
I had an 1.5 hour commute. In the car every day. So by the time I got done with my day, the headache was crazy. How am I supposed to go home and take care of 3 kids and a husband and not be ugly acting? Because between my migraine, the sinus headaches and everything, and then tension from my hair, I was just, it was bad. It was too bad. I'm like, there's got to be something else. So that was okay, let's come up with something.
That was the impetus that put it on there. Now, I would assume this was a very common problem. No one else had really looked to do anything to address it?
That's where my research really realized that there's a lot of bias in the hair industry, the hair accessory industry. Of course, everybody's got the same problem that has curly or textured hair. You don't have to be African American to have the curls or the texture. But it was like, it made me realize it's very blatant, but if you don't see it from the other side. But all hair accessories that were existing were either made for people with straight hair or made only to force you to straighten your hair in order to have success with using them.
I could see that. You know, if I think of looking, because I have 3 daughters, so you know, there's a lot of hair products, and it, I could completely see that. I mean, we all have pretty straight hair, but I know my girlfriends that have curlier hair, or one of my daughters has really thick hair in it, so we can't get it up, like in a bun or whatever, and it just. I could completely see that. And you're right. If I go to buy stuff, there is a section. I mean, but it's teeny weeny.
But it's still even then. If you see it, I've gone to different, small box and big box retailers. You go down the hair accessory aisle. It tells you, even on the packaging. Everyone has straight hair, no matter what skin tone they are. Everyone has straight hair, and it's like, well, this is pretty blatant. That it's nothing over here is meant for me if I don't want to straighten my hair.
So there had to be a big, big, big opportunity.
It was, but I was scared to death. So I was like, I would go to Walmart and Walgreens, whatever, go down the aisle and be like, okay, has anybody invented anything for me yet? No one, I'd have been pissed if they did. Right. But I was like, somebody's got to do it. It's got to be. But it never was there. And I'm like,
so that's when the light bulbs start. All right. So I like this. I'm like, I'm seeing the light bulb ticking off here. All right. So we're going to take a short break. And when we come back, I want to talk more to Ceata. We're going to talk to Ceata about how this light bulb came to be and how you actually started and launched your company. So we'll be back in just a few. Hey everyone, it's Kristen. Be sure and visit my website at www.andregroup.com. That's www.andreegroup.com. And while you're there, be sure to download my white paper, Top 10 Reasons Your Business Isn't Growing Fast Enough. Now get out there and create your no limits moment. Hi guys, and welcome back to No Limits with Kristen Andre. We are visiting with Ceata Lash, who is the founder of the PuffCuff.
Yes.
And before the break, you were telling us kind of your story and how this came out of you needing a solution to the hair, to the curly hair.
Solution to be able to style my hair and not end up in
pain.
hangry.
Yeah,
Hangry, I call
exactly.
it. So I was like, by the end of the day, got home hungry, angry,
Yep.
headache,
With a headache.
all of that, and then got to look at children and husband and be like, some
Yeah,
type
you
of
have to function.
right,
Yeah.
being able to function.
Yeah.
So literally, I had a concept in my head of what the clamp should be like.
That was not the shoestring around the neck.
It was definitely,
Good.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I realized that I didn't need anything. Okay, so let me start over. So realizing the hair industry, the hair accessory industry, basically gave you tools to cinch thin or straight or fine hair down to give it bulk.
Got it.
Just like I compared to like fiber optics. You
Yeah.
know, you got those really thin lines, but then you got a rubber casing in order to give it bulk.
You needed the opposite.
Right. It was
Yeah.
like, I don't need anything to cinch my hair down because I've already got the bulk.
Yep.
I just need something to hold it in place. So there's a little clip that my grandmother had and my mother had that was eons old but it was maybe about the size of a golf ball.
Okay.
But the teeth were all the way through.
Okay.
And I thought to myself, if I could find something like that on a larger scale and shorten the teeth so the teeth would just kind of like act like fingers rather than a comb,
Right.
then it would make sense. So that was my 5 years of searching for this product,
Okay.
online, in stores, everything else. And it just wasn't, nothing ever came to fruition, nothing ever. So I was like, okay, I got this. I got this. So there were 2 life situations where Lord put me through, which one was I was able to end up having my 99-year-old grandmother come live with me right before she transitioned, only because she had gotten diagnosed with congestive heart failure. So she went from literally independent living on her own in her own house in Indiana, and had planned on dying that same way.
Aww.
But the doctors were like, no, she cannot be by herself. And my dad is the only child. And she was like, I'm not living with your father.
Yeah, so bless her.
Right.
Grandma was with you. Okay.
Grandma came to live with me. And it was a blessing. And it was one of those things where I just was able to have those good heart-to-heart conversations with her.
Yeah.
And just came to realize that she did not regret anything.
Yep.
She was like, I'm ready to go. I wouldn't change anything.
Good for her.
I'm at peace with all
Yep.
of this. And I thought to myself, I mean, that's when that whole concept that I had was really deep on my heart.
Yep.
And it was like, okay, Lord, if you give me 99 years, which I'm not necessarily, I don't want that many, but will I be able to be in the same place?
Sure.
And it was resounding no. If you don't do something with this, you won't be able to say the same thing. It'll be I wish it could have, would have.
Grandma's gift.
Right, grandma's gift.
Yep.
And at that same time, we were on the list to be adoptive parents.
Oh, wow.
And
okay.
actually, we had decided to take our name. We did open adoption, but we had decided to take our name off of the list because it was like, this is a lot happening right now.
Yeah.
Let's just get through this. So we literally went to Indianapolis, packed up my grandmother. On the way back, I'm following in the car. My husband's driving the U-Haul. We're talking back and forth on the phone. And we're like, yeah, we need to take our name off the list. So this was Saturday. Yeah, Saturday. No, this was Sunday. So by the time we had gotten back to my house, he went to work the next day. I went to Kohl's to pick out bedding and stuff for my grandma's new room. And I get a call on my phone, and it's the adoption counselor, and it's from her personal phone.
Oh, goodness.
And I'm like, I looked at the girl at Kohl's. I was like, we just got chosen.
Yeah.
Sure enough, answer the phone. Yes, you just got chosen. So I was like, okay, Lord, you have not asked me about how much I can bear.
Lord doesn't ask you that.
Right.
I've learned that. He's just going to give it all to
He
you.
just gives it to, and I'm like,
Okay.
can we do a little sidebar consult?
Baby steps.
Right,
here.
right.
Yeah. Okay.
So with that, it was, okay, not only have you gotten chosen, you're getting your baby on Friday. You're going to meet the birth mother tomorrow. You're going to meet the baby on Wednesday. She's going to have her last visit on Thursday. The baby's coming home with you on Friday. And by the way, your grandmother's coming on Monday.
So you are birthing a business, taking in grandma and birthing a baby, or taking in a newly birthed baby.
A 4-week-old baby.
Goodness gracious.
All in one weekend.
That's a big weekend.
Yeah, it was.
So I'm thinking after that, this business thing's going to be a piece of cake.
Right. That's what it was. It's like, you know what? If I can do this, I can do that.
Yeah.
So, right. After my husband and I didn't end up a puddle of mud on the floor. Okay. We made it through. When my grandmother did transition, I decided to go back to work because I just went on permanent or temporary leave, whatever.
Right.
I didn't have no benefits because I was freelance and I was just like, I'm gone.
Yeah.
So once I went back to work, I said, you know what? I'm going to work full time. If I have the opportunity, I'm going to work full time, be able to raise funds and do the research and everything to get my prototypes and then build this business up. So I went back full time for my first time ever since college.
Oh, wow.
And worked until I could bring it to fruition. I was working at the junior college.
So how long did it take to get it to where it was ready? Your prototype was ready and you were ready to launch it.
So started the business officially, my LLC, in 2013.
Okay.
I think it was like, I went back to, my son was born in 2011. The baby that we adopted was 2011. I went back to work in 2012.
Okay.
Worked with the adjunct professors at the school to help. They helped me bring my idea from, out of my head on 2D to 3D, and then also introduced me to my CAD engineer and my manufacturer.
Oh, nice.
And then from 2012 to 2014 is when we started actually retailing the first PuffCuff on Amazon.
Okay, so and you have some big developments in the PuffCuff.
Yes. So
tell us about your because I don't think we really, when we see products in small box or big box retailers, we automatically think, oh yeah, they just got to the shelf. We don't really think about I'm sitting at home taking care of grandma and a newborn and trying to develop this prototype.
Right.
So I mean, that's a lot of years of hard work.
It's a lot of peaks and valleys too. A lot of peaks and valleys.
So today though, tell us how it's doing.
It's awesome. It's awesome. We, I should say, everything was going great, but I am not a numbers person.
Got it.
And I could do the creative side, the marketing side, all of that, but I don't speak numbers.
Yep. I'm the opposite. I'm the numbers girl.
Oh, see, we could have ran the world then, right? So, with that, I knew I lacked that space.
Right.
And I made some mistakes. I made some serious financial mistakes. So in 2016, almost lost the business due to predatory loans because I did not do the research I should have done, and it was crazy.
Yeah.
But 2017, actually, my SCORE mentor, you guys know about SCORE?
Yeah.
Love SCORE. Had introduced to a SCORE mentor that helped me and my husband get us out of the red into the black. 2017 just actually took us 6 months to actually get into the black, which no one told me that it was going to take that long.
That's the part I think people forget to mention in business is it is not this straight line trajectory up. No. It's ups and downs, and sometimes that down is below the baseline. It's below zero.
It was right.
And a lot of times people forget that about taking on a business.
We had plenty of people who we thought really were, our advocates tell us, you know what, just stop right now, declare bankruptcy, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, you know what, my Lord has not told me that.
That's right.
So
I haven't gotten that sign.
Right. Yep. Until he tells me that, I'm not doing it.
Well, good for you for sticking with the plan and sticking with what was on your heart.
Stick with the plan. And now we just got a distribution deal with Sally Beauty Supply.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
That's a huge deal. I mean, Sally is...
It was perfect.
That is the beauty supply place.
Right. And it was a perfect match. I mean, we tried other big box retailers and this, that, and the other. But I ended up applying for their Cultivate program, which what they are doing was helping women in beauty business to have their own products, just giving them a leg up in terms of getting
I love
exposure.
That. Kudos to Sally Beauty Supplies.
It's called the Cultivate program, and it was a pitch contest basically.
Yep.
I've entered every pitch contest possible.
Good.
And always gotten a no for some reason. Shark Tank. So and the profit and all of that.
Yeah.
Always. But anyway, it was like, you know what? Anything that comes across, I'm going to apply for it, and we'll just see what
happens. But that door
see what happens.
So that's a big old door.
The door opened, and it opened in a way that was just amazing because I didn't win the Cultivate program. The Cultivate program was for, you were supposed to get a $25,000 grant and online distribution solely on sallybeauty.com.
Okay.
So when the email came, because it was an email, I was like, okay, here we go. It's another no.
Right.
I read it and it was like, you did not win the Cultivate program.
Right.
But because of how far you are along, we feel you deserve this. And it was called the President's Innovation Award.
Oh, nice.
So with that, it was like, we are not only going to put you on sallybeauty.com, we are going to give you fast track distribution into all of our stores nationwide.
That's fantastic.
So I was like,
that's good. That's a little chill bump.
Right,
moment,
right,
though. I
right.
like that. Because what it shows to me is just, it's the hard work, is you didn't give up. Because I see so many, a lot of entrepreneurs and a lot of businesses fail. We know that.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to wonder how many of them fail because they had that first down and they just stopped.
And there's a lot of that because, and that's why I tell the stick to it, you got it.
Yeah.
You know what? You got to have a thick skin.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be ready to put your big girl panties on and just, because it's not easy. And media and TV makes it that this add water and stir reality. And it's not that. It's not that.
All.
And there's so many people who have so many great ideas, but it's like, okay, you're not going to make money instantly.
Right.
It's going to be some years, but you got to put in order to get to that point.
Yeah.
But when it comes, it will come if you just stick with it.
I think that's the biggest thing. And we're going to take a short break. And we come back, we're going to kind of talk a little bit more about how other people can take Ceata's drive and stick-to-itiveness and impart that in their own lives. So we'll be back in just a few. Hey everyone, check out my podcast, No Limits with Kristen Andre, on Tuesday nights at 7:30. We will tackle the things holding you back and the limits you set on yourself and equip you with some strategies to lead more intentional lives. Podcast launches every Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. on facebook.com/Andre Group. That's facebook.com/ANDREE Group. We'll see you there. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to No Limits with Kristen Andre. We are wrapping up our time with Ceata Lash of PuffCuff.
Yes.
And before the break, we were talking about businesses and just the ups and downs, and which comes with every business.
Mm-hmm.
But so many, what I admire about your story, first of all, it's a really cool product.
Thank you.
So I love the fact that it kind of was born out of your own necessity and your own desire to go, look, there is nothing out here for me that solves my challenge, my problem, so I'm going to make something. Love that. But I think what I respect the most is just your stick-to-itiveness with the ups and downs, because that's where, like we were talking about, so many people quit. They just stop.
Right. Even when I decided not to seek I decided to put graphic design on the back burner.
Right.
And focus 100% on PuffCuff. People were like, really?
Yeah.
Just not being able to get it and not realizing that, hey, you're adding to my fear by doubting me. Just,
Exactly.
we need more cheerleaders
right.
when it comes to stuff like this. Just because people aren't used to it, it's like, still be supportive and blah, blah, blah. But anyway, so the business started, I would say in mid-2017, we started coming out of the black from my financial foolishness. Right after we got out of the black, we moved from Illinois here 5 years ago.
Right.
Because my husband worked for Bank of America and in Illinois, but it was either Charlotte or here that we could transfer to, because Illinois was like, we're done with Illinois after Snowmageddon and Ice-Mageddon. We were like, this is punishment.
Yep.
We don't have to do this anymore. Yeah. So moved here. Then 2017 June, right after we came back from, what is it? I think Amelia Island. Was it? I think it's Amelia Island. Amelia. I can't say that.
One
Island.
of those nice places.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, just family getaway. Had a great time. Literally got in Thursday night. Friday morning he went back to work. His boss gives him a call. Close down your computer. You're basically gone.
Oh, goodness gracious.
And this was like right before he was going to have his 5th year anniversary there. And so he wasn't going to get the severance package he could have gotten. And we just bought a house, and it was.
So PuffCuff time to take off then.
Oh God, it was devastating. It was devastating. PuffCuff really it was like PuffCuff was sitting here like, I got you. I got you. Don't worry about this. But literally we were like, you know, what are we going to do?
Absolutely.
We don't have, we got 3 kids. Wait, like,
and a product that we know is going to be good, but it's not there. Yeah.
But I mean, no, it actually was there, but we just still didn't see it.
Yeah.
Because you're so used to, somebody's got to be getting a check. Somebody's got to have that, what you think is stability is so unstable.
Yeah.
Because literally we went from, oh, he's good, to a phone call, shut it down, you're done.
Yeah.
And okay, we had probably about 3 weeks of, he had 3 weeks, 4 weeks of mourning. I had 3 or 4 weeks of what the heck are we going to do?
Right.
We got to put this sucker up for sale? Do we need to downgrade car? What are we going to do?
Yeah.
So we clashed on that point, but finally we had we joined a new church. Our church here, we had some couples come to us and were like, you guys really have got to see what you have.
Yeah.
And then my husband stepped back, stopped mourning, and realized, you know what? You would have never left Bank of America unless they kicked you out.
Yeah.
And there is a spot right here for you for PuffCuff that you need to fill, because she can't do it. I know what my skill set is.
Right.
And it wasn't what he could do.
It wasn't. He was a good compliment.
He was
to it.
the perfect, because he knows budgeting, he knows vendor contracts, he knows all of that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So once we got past our own issues of this losing Bank of America and realizing, you know what, thanks Bank of America, because we really
put you on the right path. Right. You know, I think a lot of times things like that happen where that's really what's that. We look at it at the time like, this is devastating, this is bad news, but it really is one of those things. And I heard the term last week when I was watching some movies. It's a God wink thing where it just kind of shifts your direction a little bit, but it puts you where you're supposed to be. Exactly. And I think that's what's super cool about this. So, all right. So I love, like I said, the fact that there were ups and downs, but you guys as a family stuck with it. And now you've got this great deal with Sally. And I know that's just the start, but you know, here's where I want to go. At the end of every episode, we issue a challenge to our listeners. And what we want them to do is just take everything, all the good stuff you shared with them, all your stories, the ups and downs, and most importantly, the fact you stuck with it. And we issue a challenge to them as to how they can kind of implement all the wisdom you've left with them. Okay. So this week, we have a group on Facebook. It's hashtag No Limits Moment. And we ask people to go there. This week, I feel like it's about the ups and downs. It's about overcoming that. Because if you didn't overcome those ups and downs, do you think I'm guessing the business woun't be where it is?
I wouldn't know. Right. I wouldn't know what I know now. Yeah. I wouldn't know. I mean, a lot of those downs, like for instance, we didn't say turned down. We didn't get picked for Shark Tank.
Right.
I know now if I had gotten picked for Shark Tank, I probably would not be in business right now, because we were not at a place where we could have handled what all the exposure from Shark Tank would have brought us.
Right.
Now, I know I can,
to.
With Sally, it's like, you know what? Okay, now I have a glimpse of knowing supply chain management, knowing how to massage my vendors in order to get them to be able to have inventory in place and all of that. So it's all, you cannot learn if you don't have those downs.
Yeah. It's the ups and downs, and it's timing. And so here's the challenge I'd like to pose to the listeners is we've all had those times in our business or in life, even if you're not in business for yourself, where you just are like, I want to quit. It seems like everything's coming down. So my challenge this week to the listeners is there's probably something out there that you're just on the verge of giving up, whether it's personal or professional. My challenge is don't give up, don't quit.
Right.
Go that next step and see what happens. And like you said, you had neighbors and people and friends that were supportive, and your church friends saying, you don't know what you have here. Find that person. So the challenge is just to not give up. Whatever that thing is that's out there that you're like, oh, I'm almost to the end of my rope. Go one step further and find somebody that can help advocate and support you.
Right. Sometimes you need to get past yourself.
Definitely. Because a lot of times if our self is what gets in the way a lot of times. It's just the self-doubt and everything.
Right. That self-doubt, that'll get you. You need somebody, sometimes it's just shutting that down and just being open to listening. and seeing what else is out there. But just having faith and not giving up, because nothing worth having is going to be fast and easy.
I think that's perfect. Nothing worth having is fast and easy. So that's our challenge this week. Ceata, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
Very excited. We'll have to check out PuffCuff. All you curly-headed listeners out there, make sure you check out Sally Beauty Supply and grab one for yourself. But until next week, find us on Facebook at #NoLimitsMoments. Follow our challenge and keep pushing past those limits. Have a good one.
Awesome.